Hi everyone, my name's Jeff and I'm one of the senior traders here at StopTrading.co.uk. It's currently the 22nd of September 2020 and the time is currently 3:30 PM UK time. Now in today's live stream we're going to be demonstrating some of the scalping techniques that we deploy using MetaTrader 4 when trading various markets, specifically using our in-house one-click software interface. Now we'll be specifically focusing on trades for an FTMO account, and for those of you who aren't aware of FTMO, they are a prop trading firm who offer to fund consistently profitable traders with a substantial real money trading account. And as you may already know, having a large enough trading account to allow you to trade at low risk is often one of the main challenges a typical retail trader will face when first setting out. Now, our own in-house trading strategies are all formed around a low risk approach. We typically trade in the range between 0.5% and 2.0% of our account equity. However, when approaching the FTMO challenge, there are a couple of rules that you must abide by. So first of all, your total equity cannot drop below 10% of your opening account balance. Now what I mean by equity is that at any time whilst you're trading, your unrealized losses cannot fall below 10%. This is not the same thing as closed trade losses, so you have to be very careful with this, which is why we always recommend using a stop loss. Secondly, your daily equity cannot fall below 5% of your account balance. Once again, you must be aware that the amount is unrealized losses, so you always need to keep an eye on this. Now in today's demonstration we're just going to use a demo account which provides £35,000 worth of virtual funds, and if you're looking to take on the FTMO challenge, I highly advise you to take a free demo account out in the first instance to get a feel for what you're doing. This also gives you an opportunity to check that you're abiding by the rules. Now I should point out that this live stream today may not necessarily be a particularly dialogue heavy stream. I'll try to point out a few things as I go along, but you'll need to understand that when you're scalp trading, it requires a high degree of concentration where I may be jumping in and out of trades very quickly, and unfortunately as a man I have to confess that I'm not the best at multitasking. So being able to focus on the scalp trades as well as talk to viewers through the process, well, it would be very difficult for me. So I'll just quickly point out that for those of you who are familiar with MetaTrader software, you might see a few indicators on the screen that you haven't come across before. Some of these indicators are indicators that we've developed in-house and are only available to our VIP members. The same applies to our bespoke StopTrading one-click software interface, which you can see on the screen right now. And if you'd like any further details on the indicators that we use, or indeed the one-click software, please feel free to visit our website at www.stoptrading.co.uk. There will of course be a link in the description below as well. Okay, so without further ado, I'll get started. So just to point out a couple of things that I'm using in MetaTrader at the moment. So I have a tick volume histogram at the bottom of the chart, which obviously produces the volume of ticks traded for each candle. I'm also using a daily high and low indicator, so it's a nice visual indication of where price is relevant to the highs and lows for the day. I'm also using some moving averages here, and of course I'm using the one-click trading software. I'm also using a Fibonacci retracement indicator as well, which kind of helps with the higher time frames. Now if anyone has any questions, as I say, I cannot guarantee that I'll be able to respond to them in real time, but I will be happy to reply to any comments made below, and you can of course reach out to us at our website. In terms of the lot sizes I'll be trading at and the risk involved with these particular trades, they have been geared specifically towards the FTMO challenge, so we wouldn't necessarily trade the exact same lot sizes as we would with our own personal accounts. But the goal here is to abide by the FTMO rules. Now to the right of my screen you'll actually see the FTMO account that we're about to trade with, and I'll just close down that notification. This is a brand new account. One thing to just point out quickly is that you'll see in terms of the trading objectives by FTMO, it states here that the minimum number of trading days needs to be 5. For the real challenge, this will be double that. It will be 10. You'll need to trade at least 10 days trading to qualify. The max daily loss here, as I say, this is a £35,000 virtual account, so the maximum daily loss is represented by 5%, or £1,750. The max daily loss is 10%, which of course of £35,000 is £3,500, and your profit target, here it states that the profit target is £1,750, which represents 5% of the account. However, for the real challenge, it would be doubled. So it would be, in this instance, it would be £3,500. Now you can see that we've placed absolutely nothing at all. There's no trades going on whatsoever. So let's get started. As I say, I may not necessarily be able to kind of talk you through every single aspect of what I'm doing, because this is a scalp trading demonstration rather than a swing trading demo, or intraday trading. So there may be instances where when I'm in and out of trades literally in less than a minute. So it all depends on how I'm reading the charts, the methods and strategies that we apply, which is part of our course. So as I say, I may not necessarily be talking too much through this as I do this, but all of the trades that I'm placing, you'll see them appear in the terminal window in the bottom of MetaTrader. You see them in the trade tab here. So keep an eye out on this section here. Obviously that will provide details of the time the place was trade, the type of trade, what symbols I'm placing the trades on, what my stop loss would be, take profit, etc. So you can keep an eye on all of this information as I'm placing the trades. Now by default I have open a few different symbols that I'm kind of keeping a focus on for now. I have the euro pound, the euro dollar, the pound yen, the euro yen. I also have the UK 100, also known as the FTSE, and I also have the gold against the dollar. So typically there's quite a lot of action in gold, so that's also something that I may kind of jump in and out of as well. As I say, it's all going to depend on how I read these charts. In all honesty, over the last kind of 30 minutes, I've actually been just preparing for this live stream, so I've not been keeping full focus on what's been going on all of these charts. So I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes now just kind of going through reading these charts, identifying potential trading opportunities, and as I say, if I see any, because it's a scalp trade, I may be potentially in and out of these trades very quickly. So let's get started. So just to quickly point out, to the right hand side of the screen at the moment, you'll see our currency heat map. So I'm just looking at other potential opportunities to see where major currencies are performing against other kind of other major currencies at the moment. I can just kind of see at the moment that the US is pretty strong at the moment when it's compared to some of the other currencies. In particular, it looks to be pretty strong, at least in the kind of short to medium term, against the pound. So I'm actually just going to focus some attention on the US dollar to the pound for the moment. Okay. Okay, so I've just placed a sell trade on pound dollar. My stop loss line is actually quite close to the price. So in terms of risk, it's slightly higher risk. However, I'm liking the way that the price action is moving. All of the indicators are suggesting to me that this is going to continue down at least to this point here that I've marked up on the screen. So I'm going to keep a close eye on this one. If it starts to go against me for whatever reason, I may just jump out of this. But we're going to see how this one plays out for the next, at least the next couple of minutes. So we'll see what happens here. Okay, so just while we're waiting for this trade to play out, a couple of things I just wanted to quickly point out to you. So when I first placed the trade, you may have noticed I use this refresh button on our one-click software. What that essentially does is it generates for me a kind of pseudo stop loss line, which actually doesn't do anything until an order's placed, a trade is placed. But what that's basically doing for me is it's allowing me to kind of calculate in real time what my risk percentage is. So if you noticed, I actually placed a trade using the sell conservative button, and the lot size at the time was 3.68. And this number represents, in terms of a conservative trade, it represents 0.9% of my balance. So by placing my stop loss here and using this conservative button, the software has calculated for me that if the trade goes against me and hits my stop loss, then I'll lose 0.9% of my account. So based upon an FTMO challenge where you wouldn't want to lose any more than 5% per day, because that would violate the rules, what that would allow you to do is, if you're trading at 0.9% of your balance, when you factor in commissions as well, it's slightly less than 1%. So in theory, you could potentially still stay in the challenge even if you lost 5 trades on the spin, which obviously you don't want to do, but it's certainly possible. So this, as I say, this software is allowing me to make real-time calculations on the fly, which is ideal for scalp trading, because often you don't have the time to work out how much you need to trade to stay within the tolerances of the FTMO challenge. Now, looking at how the price is moving, it could actually be a case of my stop loss could possibly hit. I don't know yet, but that's okay, because I know what my risk was. It was 0.9% of my account. So if I happen to lose, I've still potentially have 4 more trades for the day to trade at, and I won't violate those terms. So this is what this software does for me. Just to give you an example, I won't do it on this particular page, but if I just switch out to, let's switch out to gold for a moment, and then I'll go to a smaller time frame. If I just refresh where that pseudo stop loss line is, and it's just placed it kind of by default, just ever so slightly higher than where the bid and ask lines are. If you notice, the software's already kind of determined, based on the fact that the stop loss line is above the bid and ask prices. It already knows that if I was to place a trade, the chances are I'm going to be making a sell trade to go short, because it's above the line. And I'll just move it above if I can grab it. It's a bit tricky because the bid and ask lines are in the way. So yeah, you'll see, because it's above the current price, it's offering me an opportunity to sell. If I dragged it below the price, it would know that I'm potentially looking to buy. And obviously the percentage calculation, so if I just go back up here, you'll sell that 0.9% of equity. If I press the conservative button, that's how much it would risk. So if the price touched my stop loss line, I would lose 0.9%. And by using this button, it actually doesn't matter where this line is. It's going to calculate that in real time. So you'll see as I move it, those numbers are changing constantly. And the closer I get to the price, the bigger the lot size. So I hope that makes sense. Anyway, we'll just switch back to our previous trade on pound dollar and see how we're getting on. Okay, so you'll notice prior to the previous candle there was a little bit of an upwards movement, but it looks as though it's starting to head back down now. What I'm going to do at this stage, because I want this candle to close at the very least below this lowest point, to kind of indicate to me we are heading in the right direction, what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to move my stop loss just in front of my entry, because that way we kind of guarantee a risk-free trade, which is extremely important, especially if you're taking the real FTMO challenge. So I'm just going to move my stop loss to entry, just in front of entry now. So now I know, regardless of what happens, sorry, I just need to accept that and do that once more. So now I know, regardless of what happens, this is a risk-free trade. Nothing, you know, you can't lose any money. So if the price decides it doesn't want to head down any further, which I'm still confident it will, but if it doesn't want to head down any further and it wants to push back up again, we'll close out the trade and we'll move on. Okay, so there's something I just want to point out quickly. If this was a real trade, the truth is that I would actually stay in this trade to see how this plays out. I would trail the price. I'd start to move the stop loss down and eke out, you know, as much as I can out of the trade. However, I'm conscious of the fact that this is meant to be a live scalp demonstration, and we've already been in the trade for quite some time now. So based upon that, I do want to get at least one more trade into the live stream to demonstrate for you guys. So I'm actually going to close this trade out now. As I say, normally I would probably leave this one to run for a bit longer, but I do want to focus on one more trade, so I'm just going to close this out. As you can see, it will close out around about the £400 profit, so I'll just close this order. Okay, so I'll now just start to reevaluate and just check the charts again. As I say, we was in that trade for a little bit longer than I would have liked ideally, so we'll move on. I'm just going to close out GBP USD anyway, because I'd like to focus on a different symbol if we can. Okay.